And we're very excited to be here with you this evening. And we will be starting this evening with our opening performance by Darius J. Manuel. We'll be performing Make Them Hear You, a selection from the musical Ragtime. Thank you, Darius.
Hi everyone. My name is Darius J. Manuel, and this is Make Them Hear You from Ragtime. Go out and tell our story, let it echo far and wide. Make them hear you. Make them hear you. How justice was our battle, and how justice was denied. Make them hear you. Make them hear you. And say to those who blame us for the way we chose to fight, that sometimes there are battles that are more than black or white. Not put down my sword when justice was my right. Make them hear you. Make them hear you. Go out and tell our story. Your daughters and your sons. Or the power of a pen. Teach every child to raise his voice, and then my brothers, then will justice be demanded by 10 million righteous men. Make them hear you, 'cause when they hear you,
How are you this afternoon, evening? It's dark already, so it's evening, right? My name is Pat West. I'm the president of the Old Dillon Foundation and a proud partner with the Cultural Division and the Convention and Visitors Bureau, and we are working towards our cultural tourism project. And we want to thank you all for coming and working with us to make culture here in Broward County the thing. I have to tell you, I'm a recent retiree, only 2 months. It's exciting. I worked for Broward County for a long time, and I enjoyed it, but I am enjoying retirement more. I also get the opportunity to spend a little more time with my mom, who really needs me at this time, so I'm blessed to be able to enjoy her as well. Again, we want to thank you for coming. We want you to take advantage of the different venues that we have here, talk to them about projects and where we plan to go as we move forward with the future. It's exciting. There are a lot of opportunities available, and as far as the foundation is concerned, our goal is to try to make it happen. And we want to work with all of you to do that. So at this time, I'd like to introduce Mr. Albert Tucker, from the Broward County Convention and Visitors Bureau.
Thank you and good evening. It's been a while since I've seen many of the faces in here, but it's a pleasure to be here. My goal tonight really is to introduce a special person, but I want to say a special thank you to a special person, and that person is Grace Cool. Let's give her a round of applause. Culture in our community is so special because it creates not only the opportunity to understand our history and our culture, but it's also an opportunity to develop economic engines if you understand what your craft is. And this is what this is all about. When you talk about the Sister-Owned Collaborative and all those programs, we are so fortunate to work with the Convention and Visitors Bureau along with the Cultural Council to try to create opportunities for our small businesses, our cultural community, but most importantly, to let our young people know how much history and how much talent we have right here in Greater Fort Lauderdale community. So let's give that to our artists, everybody around the world, all those people that are, I say outside of the business, make sure that we support them because that's the lifeblood of our future. And again, I like to say thank you again to the Cultural Division, to those partners that we have, and those that are here tonight, because without you, we can't make some of these things happen. Porgy and Bess is going to be an exciting performance when it comes, and for the Greater Fort Lauderdale Convention and Visitors Bureau, it's part of our start to Black History Month in February. So we're going to make sure that we can provide the necessary levels of support, promotions and things in those areas, to make sure that our community is aware of what's happening. So without further ado, let's invite up to the stage none other than Senator Perry Thurston. He has a team behind him that's making this work. We just provide some resources, but they provide the real power behind it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, thank you. You know, you guys need to give Mr. Tucker another round of applause. When we tried to take this project on, we didn't realize, everything costs, and with the help of Al Tucker, we were able to underwrite most of this so that we could save our money for when we come with the real production. I'm State Senator Perry Thurston, and I have my better half here with me, Dawn Thurston. And we decided to be co-chairs of this event after a introduction by one of my son's coaches, Neil. And we didn't know what Neil was getting us into, by the way. But Neil is not just a coach. We didn't know, we always go to the games, and my son Trey, he's graduated now from high school, graduated from Morehouse and out in Austin, Texas. But when he was working in Austin, Texas, and that's a good thing. But when he was in school and he was playing football, my wife would always say, well, who is this guy that keeps yelling at our son? I was like, what do you mean? He's the coach. She's like, yeah, but you see, he's just a yeller. He yells all the time. Well, we didn't know that was Neil. And Neil's an opera singer. He's a star. And he's going to be Porgy in this production that when they come. And so we met Neil, and he had told us that there are so many opera stars here in South Florida. And I didn't know that, but now that I've met him and we've gotten involved, we know that there truly is. But through Neil, we were able to meet Jacqueline Lober, who has been taskmaster. She has a room. We set it down. We meet and we accomplish every goal that we set. We're going to do this. We get it done. We're going to work on this project, make sure that we get it done. But she has really led this effort. And as Mr. Tucker said, there's some people behind us who are making this happen who actually know what they're doing. They're about bringing the arts to our community. But one of the things that we wanted to do was to make sure we get the Pan-Atlantic Council. And I see some of the organizations, certainly the Deltas and the Kappas are represented here, and the AKAs as well. I don't want to get you all to jump on us, the links and the AKAs, but what we're trying to do is this. Our president of Kappa Alpha Psi is here. We're trying to bring the youth and get the youth involved. And one of the things that was sort of surprising to me is all of the work that the symphony does with our schools already. some of you may have heard of these programs, and I had not, but I know about them now. They have the free music education program, which is called Symphony in the Schools. And it works closely with our local schools, our Title I schools, such as Dillard Center of the Arts, and Walker Elementary, and Bethune Elementary, among others. So they're already working with the youth to prepare them. And what we want to do is encourage the youth, and I can't think of a better production to do that than Porgy and Bess. So we're hoping that through this presentation, and I know that we have some people who are going to tell you the history of Porgy and Bess, and I'm going to get out of the way so they can get up here and do that. But, you know, this is one of the largest professional symphonies around, and we've certainly opened our eyes. And at the helm of is an award-winning entrepreneur and philanthropy expert, Jacqueline Lober. She has taken the organization to new heights. And without further ado, I give you Jacqueline Lober, the president of the South Florida Symphony Orchestra. And here she comes down. Yes.
Go on, you don't want to sing?
Well, for many of you, this is the first time I'm having the opportunity to get to know you, and we welcome you with open arms to the South Florida Symphony under the baton of Maestra Sabrina Maria Alfonso, the founder of the orchestra. We started 21 years ago in Key West, and now we are the largest professional symphony in South Florida. They hired me in 2009 to expand the organization, and that's what we've done. We are now working with all of the Title I schools here in Broward County through a partnership that we have with Turnaround Arts that is second to none. We are serving this season 7,200 Title I students in Broward County, 100% for free. 100% for free. The children are our future, as you know, and the only way that we have a future audience is expose them to the arts, and so we do that. This year, our program has now grown into an even further exposure with the children with master classes for the students at Dillard Center for the Performing Arts, where we have our rehearsals. So we're just thrilled about that. A grant came forward. We received $241,000 to provide those services to the children here in Broward County Schools. You may know of the program. I reached out to Washington, D.C. when Michelle Obama established the Turnaround Arts program, and I was able to then partner with them here in Broward County. It started with 3 schools and now 7,200 students. Thank you. So, you know, wild things happen in the symphony. This is my 10th season. I've been here for 47 years. I'm a little bit of a fixture. Started on the beach and made my way up in my home to Broward County. And our organization is headquartered in Wilton Manors on the corner of 22nd Street and Wilton Drive. It's sort of the crown jewel of Wilton Manors, and we're very proud of the location. Thank you, Stephen, our partner, our media partner from Outclick. We actually were in the Opera Center for 8 years, and when the building was sold, we made our move. Along the way, we've met wonderful people to partner with. I see that Ari is here from West Side Gazette, and Ari's father-in-law, Bobby Henry, is on our board, as is Tunde Ogamana. Tunde, will you raise your hand there? And Ari, will you raise your hand representing the West Side Gazette? We love our partnership with them. We also have with us here, I don't know if Senator had a chance to mention the Representative Jim Waldman is here with us tonight. Jim Waldman, if you would just raise your hand, I'm making a quick introduction. Grace, I'm trying to introduce Jim Waldman, Representative Jim Waldman. There he is. There he is. Then I want to point out to you some key people in our organization. We have on our team, we have Pedro Diaz, we have Ebony is there, Tyree, and staffing the giveaway table. That's the most important table tonight. Go ahead, do your little Vanna thing there. She's the one that's going to give away 2 tickets tonight for some lucky winner to Porgy and Bess. So if you haven't put your business card in there already or filled out the slip, please do so. We also have with us tonight Ken Evans from the Democratic Party is here, and he's been a wonderful new community partner for us. We have our Stradivarius Society members with us, Beth Holland and Liz Baker and Jacqueline Haber. And Jacqueline is not only a Stradivarius Society member, but she is our gala co-chair with Senator and Mrs. Thurston. Jacqueline, will you stand up? Some of you might recognize her name. She was on the air for 45 years in Washington, D.C. as the anchor of the CBS station in a position that was created by Katharine Graham from the Washington Post. She established the first woman female anchor, obviously female anchor, at CBS, and we're thrilled to have her coming along. She and Beth are neighbors, and Beth brought her to the symphony, and the rest is history. She's just moved in and made her home with us. We also have with us tonight Novice Johnson, who is helping us, and actually has been a wonderful partner helping us with our media relations, and she's just sealed the deal with Calvin Hughes, who's going to introduce the symphony on the night of January 23rd for the Broward program. Does everybody watch Channel 10, Calvin Hughes? He's going to be our reader. Mr. Tucker, I think when we met with him, he was like, wow, what is going on with these people? They've got all these things going on. So he was just terrific in making tonight happen. He's provided us with wonderful refreshments, and we all owe him a round of applause along with Grace for making tonight happen. We are indebted, sir. And let me look around the room to make sure what else I have to make sure and do. Okay, well, we have with us Neil Nelson. Neil, raise your hand. Keani Richardson is our claret. Neil is our forte. We have Robert Morrison. Robert is a pianist who has just retired from the Met, and he's making his home in South Florida, and he's working with us on the production of Porgy and Bess. So I'm going to explain a little bit about what we're doing with the community partnership so that everybody understands what's going on. All of the Panhellenic Council groups are already set up in our system for group sales opportunities for 30 days, and tonight is the first night. So for 30 days, any of the Panhellenic Council groups have the opportunity to purchase tickets at a 10% discount. If you're involved with any other group, it could be the teachers union, it could be the hospital district, whatever you're involved with, any group that you have 10 tickets or more, you can get a 10% discount. And what we will do as the symphony, we will match that back to the nonprofits that you're involved with. So in the case of the Deltas, I happen to know on good authority from Dawn Thurston that your project is the March of Dimes. So for example, if you bought a $40 ticket, you would get $4 off the ticket. From that, it would be a $36 ticket, and we will match the $3.60 back to the charity. It would go to the nonprofit. That's how we're doing it, and it's a give back. And it's because we value the partnership, and we hope to build on the partnership over time. As you can hear, what we've done with the children's program and everything that we've done, it is over time, over many years. I also notice here some other people that I've got to introduce. Mark Nedlin is our Miami Development Officer. And we have people in Miami, as we met Quan tonight. Quan is involved with one of the organizations in the Panhellenic Council in Dade County. We'll have opportunities for meet and greets like this evening there, and we're looking forward to doing them often. So when we have the events that are coming up for Porgy and Bess, we have purposely, with intention, starting in September, had 4 different artists in our office space. We're sort of in a big space like this with high ceilings, with loft space. We've had 4 black artists each month. The first one was in September. The second one was October, and she is here with us tonight, and that is, where are you, Katiana? Katiana Jarbath Smith, who's there with her Praise House painting, a beautiful painting, my personal favorite. And each artist's work is being voted on at an art walk as part of the Wilton Manors community activities that they have the 3rd Saturday of the month. Coming up in November, Gary Moore's work is on display during the month of November, and Darius Doherty, Darius, where are you? Darius, there he is. Darius will be hosting the Symphony Chat open mic event on November 17th. And the people that are at his event will vote on the artwork that's on display that night. And so it goes for each of the months. In December, we'll have George Gadsden with an unveiling of a new sculpture and a book signing. So every month, we're doing different community activations. They're free. They're completely free. The idea is to meet us, get to know us, connect with us, and we'll find ways to work together from that point forward. This will be Darius's second activation. He had one for his Art Prevails project in the summertime. It was very successful, and we're very pleased to welcome him back again. In the general community in Miami, we have, on the same night that we're having the art walk that Darius will be at, the Maestro will be conducting a 50-person orchestra down in the Redlands for a locavore event. And that has 400 people under a banyan tree as part of the agri-tourism project with the Redlands. So you can see we're very active in a lot of different ways, and the whole point of tonight is for us to meet you and for you to learn a little bit about some of the ways that we're connecting in the community. So tonight we have with us we have Derek Davis, and Derek is a historian who was with the Old Dillard Museum as a curator. He's going to be joining us, and then following his presentation, we're going to have Keith Wade. Keith, will you raise your hand there? There's Keith. So I'm going to call you up, and then we'll have some closing remarks after the performances of Kiani and Neil and their comments for tonight.
I said I'm going to be short. Most people who know me in here know that I'm not usually known as a short speaker, but tonight I'm really going to rush for it. And I want to talk a little bit about the history of this. Most of us know that Porgy and Bess is the first American opera. And I said first American, I did not say African American. It is the first American opera. But before it became, and Keith Wade is going to talk more about when it became an opera, but I'm going to talk where it came from. Because before it was an opera in 1935, it was a groundbreaking work of literature that was just called Porgy. The book Porgy was written during the Harlem Renaissance by one of the white members of the writers of the Harlem Renaissance. And when he wrote the book, even though it was controversial in the community, many of the people, writers in the Harlem Renaissance, like Langston Hughes, praised him for this work. Even W.E. Du Bois praised him for this work, because it was the first time that a white writer wrote about black people in a way that didn't have them as buffoons. When it came out in the 1920s, it was the first time a white writer was writing about black people and not showing them as buffoons. So they really credited him. He also used dialect, and his use of dialect in his book was even compared to Zora Neale Hurston's use of dialect, that was so well done that they compared him. Now, he was from South Carolina, and he talked to a lot of blacks, but he was able to capture those things. So even when it first came out, it was really, really praised for how it was depicting black people as not being buffoons, by actually a Southern writer actually not presenting them as buffoons. So that acclaim that he got from writing this, and he was a poet, the acclaim that he got from writing this literature actually got him to actually make it into a stage play. So he made a stage play called Porgy. And the stage play was done the stage play actually helped black plays to move up in stature, because he actually said, I not only want to do this as a stage play, but I want to use black performers as actors. Now, in those days, we're talking about in the 20s, that was not the normal way of doing things on Broadway. What you did is you had blackface actors to do the parts of black people. But he said, no, I want black actors to be able to do this part. So even when it came out of the stage play, it was groundbreaking in actually using black actors as the people who presented the play. it went on, and I'll let Keith talk more about it when it became an opera, but he and Gershwin worked together to make it an opera. So a lot of the songs in it are actually the works of Du Bois Haywood. I think I didn't mention his name. His name was Du Bois Haywood. And some of the songs, like Summertime, were actually written by him. Most of the lyrics are by Du Bois Haywood. But another thing that when Gershwin created the opera, one of the things he insisted on in America, that they use black opera singers in it. So again, it opened up doors for many black opera singers. And you'll often hear it called a folk opera. One of the reasons it's called a folk opera is because Gershwin used the jazz beat in many of it, in most of the things there. At a time when jazz was not recognized as a classical musical form. So here you have all this history about black life that is being expressed in one piece that has been a literary work, as a book. It has been a stage play. It has been an opera, and then it became a film. So it is going through like all the generations. And like I said, being the first American opera to make it. Now in America, as Keith will explain to you, it didn't just make it in America because there was so much controversy of how could this white person actually be talking about blacks, and so there was a lot of controversy over it. And it actually had to go to Europe to make a name for itself before it actually became something that we would recognize, but just like jazz, because jazz music was not always recognized as a classical music form, as a serious music form, until things like Porgy and Bess and some of the other people, like we always talk about Cannonball. That's one of the things that Cannonball Adderley always is fighting for, to get jazz to be seen as a classical musical form. So there's a lot of history that goes with this. Usually if I had more time, I would tell you about the black man in South Carolina that he based this on, a guy whose name was Goat Cart Sammy, who was a beggar, who gave him the inspiration to write this. And as I said last time, when you think about the life of Goat Cart Sammy, he's sort of like in many of the characters throughout the play. Goat Cart Sammy is like reflected in all of them, because he wrote it about Goat Cart Sammy because there was a crippled beggar who he read in the paper actually was arrested for attempting to kill his girlfriend. And he said, wow, this crippled man had the manhood to do something like that. That's a great storyline, and that's kind of like the storyline behind this. As I said, I think I might be over my 5 minutes, and I want to keep to it, and I want to give Keith the time. So where's Keith? And Keith will tell you a little bit more history of it after it became a musical.
We wear the mask that grins and lies, hides our cheeks and shades our eyes. This debt we pay to human guile, with torn and bleeding hearts we smile. My name is Keith Wade. I'm an actor, writer, and a director, and I am not a member of Porgy and Bess. Y'all would pay me to stop singing. However, you will see the amazing, talented people that are going to be a part of the cast. And I started out with that poem from Paul Laurence Dunbar because of the burden of the performers that performed in Porgy and Bess. As Mr. Davis was stating to you, it's a groundbreaking first American opera. Folk opera because it infused the Gullah language with jazz and told this amazingly human story, because I emphasize the need to say human story because 3/5 was still a part of our American lexicon at the time. And for people of African descent in theater, it was groundbreaking. When Gershwin created the opera, the criticism was that he couldn't tell our story, and that the story was not only derogatory, that it was false. But the humanization of people of color is that we can be everything and anything. We can be weak, we can be strong. We can love, we can make mistakes. And I know this time is a really polarizing time because we're hurting. And we have to give ourselves the ability to hurt, to feel pain, to overcome pain. And that's what theater is. It humanizes us in a way for the world that nobody really wants to see. So Porgy and Bess was groundbreaking in not only its telling of this poor beggar from South Carolina who had nothing and fell in love with this girl, and sport life, and the inclusion or the introduction of drug and the drug culture to people of color that didn't have much. This human story transitioned throughout the world now, but the performance that started in 1936 in Boston was ostracized by even people of color because they looked at it and said, we don't want that portrayal of us on stage. We're going through too much right now for you to put that there, and you don't even really know us. But the bravery of it was that folks of color can cry, they can love, they can do all these things in the dialect that Gershwin wrote it in. So in Boston, where it opened to moderate success. Then it went on to Broadway, where it had even less success. And so the touring production began to get a lot of controversy around it because, again, the performers that were performing on stage, they were ostracized to a degree. But even in the face of that, in 1936, when they went to the National Theater in Washington, D.C., the theater was segregated. So nobody of color could come and see the play about people of color. So the performers decided that we're not going to go on stage until you integrate this theater, and that's exactly what happened. It was one of the first national theaters to be integrated, and after that, Porgy and Bess kind of just took off. To this day, it's considered the first American opera. American folk opera because it infuses jazz. But American opera because the African American experience is American. Whether they like to tell you that or not, it's an American experience. It's a story of hope, it's a story of struggle, it's a story of love lost and gained. And Porgy's struggle as a man that wants something and doesn't necessarily get it is a struggle, and it's a story of all of us. We talk about theater as an entertainment source, but theater, and particularly music, is a truth teller. You can't deny how you feel when you hear the music of Porgy and Bess. You're not going to be able to hide what you think when you see the story. The story has endured from 1936 to this very day. And so when you see it, and I'm hoping that everybody's in the theater to experience this thing that has revolutionized